it's Gaynor here from FitFish, and today I'm going to be talking about ridiculous rules. That's right, ridiculous rules. So, how we go about our lives, how we live, the kind of decisions we make, the actions that we take, the things we do, the things we think, comes about from inside us somewhere, and what we really believe. And it can really influence the way that we look after ourselves, look after our bodies, the way we eat, the way we exercise, whether we're self-sabotaging, whether we're giving into temptation. They all come about from our belief system that we have inside of us. And as Christians, we believe that Christ came to set us free and give us freedom in these areas, and that he's provided a framework for us to learn from him how to live and how to be healthy, how to be whole, and how to be free. But sometimes we find ourselves depending on different belief systems inside of us, and it's almost as if we have some kind of ridiculous rule book inside us of us going on, and sometimes we draw our beliefs from there instead of from the framework that God has given us. So I'm going to talk about 3 R's that I think that can help us with this. So first of all, it's to recognize that there's things inside of you that you're perhaps believing that aren't from the Bible, aren't from God, but they're having an impact and an influence on how you think and how you behave, particularly in the realms of healthy living. And it could have been handed to you. This rule book could have been handed on to you from others, and you've kind of accepted it, or you could have taken little bits and swallowed it chunk by chunk over your life. And it might be that if you've taken part in different kind of diet or exercise or healthy living programs, that you've been fed some rules of living and dieting and looking after yourself that aren't actually from a framework that Jesus has taught us. And so to recognize that actually those rules are coming from somewhere inside that isn't real and isn't worth a place is very, very important. And it can affect the way that you feel about eating, exercising, and your self-worth. So what have diets and exercise programs and articles and things in your past taught you now that you sometimes rely on or believe in? So it might be things, simple things such as avocados are fattening, or don't eat carbs after 6 p.m, or if you have pudding you need to burn it off by going on the treadmill. What things are there inside you that aren't true, but you are living from that kind of rule book? And then you need to ridicule. So that's the second R. Ridicule these thoughts. Say, get behind me, Satan, and trample on these negative thoughts that haven't come from God, that have come from elsewhere. Squash them and declare God's power and that you don't believe them anymore. So recognize them, ridicule them, recognize them for what they are, ridicule them, and replace your rule book, just as you swallowed little bits or taken bits for your own internal rule book. Replace them with different things. Declare biblical truths, sing worship songs, recite passages and Bible verses, declare the promises of God, speak positive things, have a positive can-do attitude, and gradually, bit by bit, replace some of those rules that you've learned that are inside you that stop you having freedom in this area with reality, and the reality of God's framework of what he has given us and the guide that he has given us. So recognize those lies and those ridiculous rules, and maybe even think where they've come from, and ridicule them. Say, get behind me, Satan, trample on them, and replace them with biblical fact, biblical truth, and looking towards God. I hope that's helpful in helping you to break away from being trapped in this kind of world and thinking of we should eat this, we shouldn't eat that, we should exercise for this amount of time, we shouldn't do that, and feeling guilty or bad about anything. That's all coming up from inside from this ridiculous rule book, but we can recognize ridicule and replace with truth and live in freedom. Lovely to see you all. Do like or comment, let me know what was helpful for you from that, and I will speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye.